Welcome to your practice today. We will be moving through a root chakra yin class here on our mats. Feel free to grab anything that will help enhance your practice, connecting you deeper into that root chakra. I like to use crystals in my practice. Anything black or dark or the color red can really enhance our connection and vibration with that root chakra, as well as essential oils, anything earthy and grounding, maybe diffusing in the background or just a drop on the wrists. No props are required, but you may choose to have a bolster, a block, or blanket with you today. We're going to begin with the soles of the feet together in our seated butterfly shape. So we really think about rooting down into the mat space with the sits bones, feeling that connection between our physical body and the earth. Don't worry too much about how close the heels are to the body. We're focusing more on that really rooted, supported seat and just allowing the knees to relax outward, inviting gravity to draw them a little bit deeper as we're here. So we find that connection through the sits bones. Let's start to just draw that energy up through our midline. And as we're here, we're really focusing on inviting space physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically into the root of the body. So if we're feeling a little stuck or rigid here, maybe a little restless, feel free to find some gentle, subtle movements. Maybe rocking side to side or front to back. As we begin to connect a little bit deeper in with our breath. In our practice today, the eyes can stay open or feel free to keep them closed the whole practice, drawing a little bit deeper inward. Removing some of those external distractions that our vision might pick up. Our root chakra is our first chakra in the physical body, location right at the base of the spine. It represents our feelings of safety, security, of home. Taking time to connect into this space, to mindfully invite the energy to move through, can help to enhance those feelings of safety, security, and home within ourselves. Can allow us to stop seeking that outside of ourselves so much. And just recognizing that we always have a home within, no matter what's happening around us. One more big breath here, in and out. Let's bring the hands to the outside edges of the knees as we gently support the legs back together. And then stretching the legs out long on the mat space, just shifting, rolling, moving. Allow your body to guide you in what it needs. And beginning to settle into a little bit more stillness here. Bring the hands right alongside the body to the mat space, or you can use blocks to lift the floor up here as well. And we're just going to gently pull one hip back and then the other, so we can feel that nice strong connection between the mat space and the sits bones. And really thinking about stacking the spine. Finding our staff pose. If we're not feeling super supported through the low back, then just tuck a little prop under the sits bones. A folded blanket or towel works really well here. Hands can rest to the lap or alongside the body. And let's begin to send that breath all the way from the base up the spine and back down. So you may choose to stay upright in the torso, really engaged through the body here. Or we can begin to take a gentle fold. Legs stay straight, or we can find a softness in the knees if we're tight through the hamstrings. So we slowly hinge forward through the hips. Stay lifted through the chest for at least a couple breaths. Optional to stay there, or we could round right down into our fold. Once again, we'll just invite that awareness right to the root of the physical body. Inviting in space, inviting in fluidity. Remembering in our yin practice, we're just meeting our bodies where we're at today. There's no need to force the shapes or push ourselves deeper than the body's wanting to move. Just simply moving until we begin to feel that gentle pull, that slight resistance. And then allow yourself to stay there. Using the breath and having the patience to allow time and gravity to maybe pull us a little deeper. We're letting go of attachment of what the shape should look like in our bodies and just allowing it to be as it is today. Continuing to stay connected with the breath. So we draw it into the body, right down to the base, allowing it to swirl there. As we exhale, releasing anything stagnant or heavy or lingering in the root of the body. Just give yourself the permission to let it go. We've chosen a fold. On our next inhale, let's slowly begin to rise. Back up to seated. Roll through the shoulders, roll through the neck. And roll through the ankles, shifting anything you need. Body's asking for a little bit of a counter pose. You could reach the hands back behind us, maybe lift the hips, legs straight or bent, just to get a little opening through that front body. Making our way into our half hero shape next. We can begin to bend one heel in towards the back side. Working to keep the knee as close to midline as we can, but knowing that it is okay if it comes out to the side. But focusing on keeping that pelvis level if we can. For some extra support in this shape, we can always tuck a prop up under the sits bones just to lift that floor up a little bit. And if you're not feeling really supported in the shape, I'll encourage a block or a prop anyways, because we really want to focus on that rooted position in this shape here. We want to feel that connection into the surface that we're seated on. Find that breath. Reminding ourselves that home is within. I am at home in my physical body. I am safe in my physical body. If the mantras resonate with you, just gently repeat them to yourself, either aloud or even silently in the mind's eye. Letting the weight of the pelvis rest down heavy into the mat. Releasing that tension, that guarding, that rigidity that we may have a tendency to hold in this part of the physical body. I am safe on my mat. I am safe in my body. Trusting our props, trusting our mats, trusting our body. So we allow ourselves to soften, releasing down a little further, a little deeper. You can choose to stay upright here. Also optional to take a gentle fold or reaching the arms back behind you. Listening to your body. Using our breath to help us lean gently towards the resistance that's coming up. Actively or with support, let's gently begin to extend that leg long to meet the other. I'm just taking a moment here to roll out, to wiggle, before pausing to just observe and notice what's happening right now in your physical body. Noticing the space that's been created. And then let's begin to journey into the second side. So bending that knee. If we were using the block or prop on the first side, let's use it again here on the second side. So you allow yourself to settle into the shape, letting the hips, the pelvis, the root feel heavy, resting into the support. We're keeping that length and alignment in the spine. Allowing our breath to anchor us a little deeper into our practice, into our bodies. Trusting our physical bodies, trusting our energetic bodies. letting the mind rest, or simply run in the background without allowing the mind to take the steering wheel. I am safe in my physical body. Home is within. Safety and security is available to me. I am safe on my mat. I am safe in my yoga practice. Choosing to stay upright here, or if you've chosen that gentle fold or opening on the first side, then I encourage you to practice symmetry in your shapes as best we can. Allowing our body to be as it is, and finding home within it in this moment, without judgment. Allow yourself that opportunity to feel home within your physical body. One more breath here. As we slowly begin to support or actively move the leg back to meet the other. We're seated onto a prop. You can slide it out of the way. Rolling out, allow that energy to shift. Allow yourself to feel differently. Allow yourself to invite in that safety, that stability. And then gently sliding the heels in towards the body, we'll step the feet a little wider than hip width. So we gently roll the knees over to one side, finding our deer shape. So take a moment here to make sure that the body feels safe and supported. We can adjust the angles at the knees, the angles at the hips, or the angles at the ankles. You can also use a prop or block or blanket or anything under the sits bones just to lift that floor up. And find that connection in with the mat space. If we're not feeling really rooted through that back hip, we can just even tuck a prop, lean our weight forward, tuck the prop behind, and allow ourselves to just roll back onto it. Noticing how the shape feels different when we feel held. Rooting through the sits bones, growing tall up through the spine. If it feels comfortable for you, I'll encourage you to stay upright here in your deer shape, but it is optional to find a fold or a gentle opening here as well. As we turn within, allowing everything else to slip away. Drawing the awareness to the root of the body. As we invite in a flow. allowing the energy to move at your frequency, flowing and shifting and moving in a way that serves you. Allow the root, the hips to rest down a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier. If we have a prop tucked under that hip, let's just lean slightly forward, sliding it out of the way. Then reaching the hands back behind us, let's roll the knees through midline and allow them to fall the other direction. Again, taking a few moments to ensure that you feel really safe in this shape, making any adjustments that are needed. And if that back hip feels like it's floating even just a little bit, let's take that prop, leaning forward, rolling back. Wanting the physical body to feel really held here and really supported will allow us to release deeper tensions. So once again, we can choose to stay really upright here as long as that feels okay for you. You can choose a gentle fold or a gentle opening, remembering that it's your practice on your mat here today. So really tuning in and listening to what you need. What you need to feel safe and secure and supported. What you need to feel grounded and held, connected with earth, a grounding force. Long, slow breaths in and long, slow breaths out. If you're using a prop, let's gently slide it out of the way. As we roll back through midline, take just a moment to stretch the legs long. Roll through any tension before we move into the final shape of our practice today, which is going to be a seated malasana. So once again, we'll invite those feet in towards the body. So we find a nice rooted position. Once again, we want the low back supported. So if we're not feeling supported, let's just reach for that prop, block, blanket, bolster, pillow. Want to try and have the hands to the front of the body. So if you feel like you're needing to lean back, then just tuck something under the sits bones. And just grabbing for the insides of the ankles. Find that strong connection between the root of the body and the surface that we're seated on. Growing tall through the spine. Gently open the heart and find your breath. If you haven't already, close down through the eyes and we'll begin to bring awareness down to the root. So we visualize the color red. Deep, vibrant, potent red. Powerful, grounded, strong and stable. So we allow that color red to form a sphere, the root of the physical body, the first chakra. And invite that vibrant red energy to flow, to move rhythmically, to swirl. Choosing the speed and the frequency at which your vibrant red energy flows. Finding your balance within your root chakra. You can choose to stay in the supported, seated Malasana shape. Or we can begin to invite the soles of the feet back together to our butterfly we found at the beginning of our practice. Rooted so we can feel lifted, safe and at home in our physical bodies. Stay here connected with your root as long as you need, as long as you desire. Thank you so much for joining me today for our practice. Namaste.